So the camera work on this is going to be pretty bad, but I want to fully demonstrate exactly what we're looking at here in these vans. So we're underneath the vans. As you can see, there's the starter. And if you look up, you can see behind this battery cable, there is the exhaust ports. And so that's the head. Then right above that, there you've got the valve cover. So looking at it from underneath, some broken off spark plugs, other spark plugs are right there. And as you can see, I can barely even get my hand around in here. This is the doghouse. So you literally have like 6 inches of room under here. And with the manifold in, it gets even less. So the one that I cut off was this closest bolt right here on the dual port. And so yeah, not exactly easy to get a grinder in there, let alone a drill to try to drill it out from this side. So yeah, definitely one of the more pain in the butt jobs on these vans is removing those manifolds. I had to break those two spark plugs just to be able to get the grinder in there. But luckily, as you can see, I did not nick the head with the grinder at all. It's all still in good shape, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, so next, I already cleaned out the threads in there with a little pipe cleaner thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get the old gaskets off and clean up those faces and throw the manifold on. So we've got everything cleaned up and ready to go. Hopefully my head is blocking the entire frame here. So we got everything cleaned up. Got the bolts nice and fresh. I'll go ahead and get this installed. So my game plan is I'm gonna thread in 4 of the bolts on the outside, or the 2 of them, and then I'll put anti-seize on the next 2, put those in, take out the first ones, anti-seize those, and then anti-seize everything that goes in. That way the bolts kind of hold everything together, so I'm not trying to put in bolts and hold the manifold while getting anti-seize all over my hands. So let's see if we can get this in there. This one goes all the way in here. Literally, to get the bolt in, there's almost no extra room with the doghouse. These gaskets seem pretty easy to install. You just have like this, and it just slips right on over. Now, this extra slit goes on the back of the motor because there's an extra thread up here. It doesn't do anything, but I like to have it line up with the extra thread. So it just comes right up over and then slides right on in. Easy peasy. So we're here up top of the engine, and there you can see the nice shiny new manifold. It's not new, but new to me. And so now I'm just gonna slip these up from up here. So actually right here, you can see the end of the manifold. And so this just is gonna slip. Let's see if I can do this and I get my arm totally in the way. Right up here like that. Boom. And it practically falls into place. Fantastic. Alright, so that's all installed. And now it's just a matter of tightening down the bolts. So coming in post, I just would want to mention that finding this particular manifold was a total pain in the butt. So the actual alternator bracket in the front is specific for alternators that mount below, so lower mount alternators, but the outlet is also a center down, so it's not coming out at an angle, it's coming straight down. So that combination is apparently very rare. I was at old car parts here in Portland,
and we went to their lot where they have a whole pile of manifolds. I couldn't find a single one. So it cross-referenced with, I believe, a 68 Corvette. So I had to go to a Corvette specialist in order to actually get a used manifold. And it ended up being one of the more expensive parts of this project. Not too expensive, but definitely not the price of a common used manifold. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out if you're working on these vans, is that driver's side manifold is hard to find, but at least it was cracked and not the one that I cut, so I had to replace it either way.
Alright, then there's this alternator bracket that just goes right on in front of the manifold. Here it is running. It sounds totally different with no exhaust leak. I had to jump start it with the Jeep. Smoking, and it's been sitting for a while. Sorry for the bad camera work in the bushes here. Yeah, up top by the engine it's really quiet in comparison. Smoky.